Yeah, and actually, there is a game we could add. Kentucky exhibition. So there's no question that they are not shying away from anyone, whether it counts or doesn't. Andy Katz, Raphael Davis, Trey Kaufman-Renn, and the reigning Big Ten Player of the Year, Braden Smith. First off, Braden, you have a chance, both of you have a chance, obviously, to go to another Final Four. You have a chance to do something that's pretty remarkable, which is win back-to-back Big Ten Players of the Year, and the school could do it 4 straight years with 2 different players, Zach Edey and yourself. Take a step back and think about what that says about not just you and Zach, but this program that you play for.
Yeah, no, I think it speaks a lot about who Purdue is and the culture that we have and the players that come through Purdue. I think it's a big deal, obviously for me and for people that have won it in the past. But I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, like our main goal is to win. So that's what we're focused on, and that's what we're looking forward to.
Trey, losing to UConn 2 years ago. I mean, you guys have seen it all, but how much did that drive you guys, not just last year, but now both of you guys coming back, Fletcher coming back, to try to get back there again and take that final step?
Yeah, I think it's the combination of, figuring out, like, knowing that you can get back, you're talented enough to get back, but also watching, the confetti drop for another team when you're at that level. And as a competitor and, watching that happen was, one of the most emotional things that could happen at that moment. And so that combination of things really, keeps us motivated every day in practice.
Now, I've been a part of Purdue basketball since I was 14. I've been a part of Purdue basketball with Coach Painter, committed at 15. And he said something that I had never heard him say a couple weeks ago. He said this is his best roster, this is his best chance to win a national championship. Is that something that you guys talk about in the locker room? Does it add pressure, or is it something that you guys embrace?
I think it's definitely something that we embrace, and, we believe them. The entire team, you look at our depth, you look at our talent, you look at our personality, the culture that we have. I just can't see, when I look at the landscape of college basketball, I can't see another team that has everything that we have and everything that we have going for us this year.
What's interesting is I think you guys, and throw Fletch in there as well, you've experienced it all. I mean, because you were on the doorstep of winning a title after a year of losing in the first round. So all these expectations of you could win it again, get back to the Final Four. You guys have all experienced being a top seed and not even getting out of the first round. How much have all of these experiences fueled and maybe to some degree humbled this team?
Yeah, just like you said, I mean, we've seen everything, the ups, the downs, the in-between. So I think being able to go through something like that as a team, like losing in the first round, like being able to have that experience, understand the work ethic that we had that summer after and what it took that whole next year with that bullseye on our back in a sense, and getting back to that spot that we want to get to of reaching the Final Four in the national championship game. And obviously last year was a heartbreak, how we lost the Sweet 16 because we all thought that we should have won there. And so after that, I mean, being able to see that and understand that, like, okay, like it's possible and we're capable of doing so, it's definitely what we think about every single day.
So, look, history lesson. I go back to when I played at Purdue. My sophomore year, we finished last place in the Big Ten. That next offseason, Coach Painter brings in 2 Navy SEALs, and they are crazy. But then we turned our season around. We finished top 3 in the conference. He did it again this year. I saw you guys training with the SEALs, out there carrying trees, in the sand pits. What did that activity, what did that group camaraderie, what did it mean to you guys? What did you take away from it? And how could you use what you learned in that to kick it on and get to a national championship?
Yeah, I think it was more just spending time with the guys. I think that was the biggest thing. Like, obviously, like, you guys experienced it in your time of all the stuff that you do with carrying the logs, doing hard stuff together and being able to push through and kind of figure out how to talk and communicate with each other to achieve those things. And I think that was just the biggest thing for us. Like, we stayed at Mackey for 2 nights, like, without our phones, like, without everything, sleeping bags, sleeping on the floor. So, like, for us, like, part of it sucked because, like, you're sleeping on the floor and no phones in this generation, like, it's different. But I think that brought us closer together and understood, like, how we can communicate with each other, how to spend time together. Like, when stuff gets tough, we know how to communicate and talk through it and be like, all right, like, we can hold each other accountable and be successful in really anything that we do.
One thing, and if you could both chime in on this, that and this is me from afar. I'm not there on the day-to-day, obviously, but you guys have both seen college athletics change during your career. Now there's money and all these things, and I don't sense that you guys have changed. You know, despite all these amenities that have come your way, and rightfully so, over the last couple of years. Why is that?
I think it's I have this discussion all the time with people, you know, back where I'm from, and they ask me all the time about the landscape of college basketball as far as the NIL and the transfer portal. And I think the biggest thing is that when you look at our culture that we have here, and you actually live it, you don't see it from the outside. You know, when you actually live it from day to day, it's not a culture that you want to leave, because you know you're not going to get one that's as good as it. And so, like when you compare it to a normal job, if you're in a great situation, you love going to work every day, you know, your family's in the right spot, just because somebody else may offer you a little bit more money or, you know, better location, nicer, whatever, it's not going to persuade you to go there versus staying at home.
Both of you guys, small town kids, grew up in small towns. I mean, my parents live in Noblesville. I know what Westfield is like. Now you're sitting here, coming off being the player of the year in the Big Ten, preseason player of the year. You were the only player in the country, Trey. 20 points a game, over 6 rebounds, over 59% from the field. What does this mean to you guys to be on the #1 team in the country, to be right here as leaders, coming from those small towns, not being 5 stars, not playing on those circuits, and you still got here to the ultimate goal?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us is just understand how far we've come, and like you said, like being from a small town and not really understanding like what it's like to be in a Final Four or to experience like the culture that we deal with every single day. Like not a lot of people get those opportunities, and I think for us, as I look back on it, like in these past 3 years, like it's been unbelievable, and I couldn't ask for anything better. And being able to finally have that last shot at it, and being able to accomplish something that only a very small amount of people can do, I think it's a big deal, and I think it's something that we're obviously capable of doing. But I think at the end of the day, like we all just enjoy being together and kind of reach that for the same goal.
Yeah, and I would add to that, just as competitors, we like relish that. We love that, you know, we're not, you know, Braden can speak for himself, but he wasn't a super highly ranked player. I love being overlooked at times. Like I love it because every single time I go in a game, you know, I can have another chip on my shoulder, another reason to beat the other team and win the game.
2 all Big Ten players. I think 2 potential All-Americans. Braden Smith, reigning Big Ten Player of the Year. Trey Kaufman-Renn, all Big Ten. They're going to compete actually probably for the same award. The #1 team in the country, the #1 team in the Big Ten. Wow, we've done all 18 teams.